cracked myself up. I still haven't found my first Blanton's. That's different. I really like that. They're like together, like peas and carrots. That's funny. Sometimes accidents are good things. Peychauds or Peychauds or Peychaud. This is not what I expected. Hello. It's Thursday. No, it's Monday. I love it. I haven't even been drinking yet. It's Monday. That's evident. So we're going to be doing Caribou Crossing. And it looks like the feed is already kind of crappy. That stinks. Well, we'll keep going, and I don't think it's going to clear itself up, but I think I need a new computer. I think it's what it's going to boil down to. We'll keep it short. Well, I lie. We're not going to keep it short. This is going to be kind of a longer one, but I'm going to rattle through it as much as I can. First of all, I just want to talk about Caribou Crossing because this is a really interesting box. It's very luminescent. You can see it as I move it. Just kind of neat how it glows and shows all those colors as I move it through the light. It's kind of neat. All right, so despite today's pour, this is not International Whiskey Day or even International Whiskey Week. I thought this Thursday was going to be International Whiskey Day because of a calendar that I looked at, and it was completely wrong. So it's not International Whiskey Week, but I am going to stick to what I said I was going to do. Today, by the way, is National Red Wine Day. Tomorrow is evidently another Whiskey Sour Day. And this Friday is September 1st, the beginning of Bourbon Heritage Month. All right, so this is sometimes called the Canadian Blanton's. And although the box is quite nicer than a Blanton's box, there are some definite similarities when you get inside it. It's got this nice Caribou Crossing bag. Bye-bye box. It has a nice topper. Get out of there. I don't know if there's any letters or anything. I don't see any letters or numbers or anything on this Caribou. But I took some special pictures today to give you an idea of some Caribou stuff. So this is kind of fun. I'm a member of an archery club, and we had a 3D shoot this weekend. And although that doesn't really look a whole lot like a caribou, maybe this one will. And you can see it's stalking my juice. That is a 1/3 scale caribou that we use for 3D archery. We shoot that target. You can see the area there in the animal where the arrows are supposed to go in. It's supposed to go in that circle. So it's kind of fun. But yeah, so that would be my caribou picture for the day. All right, let's while I crack this open, it's going to open really similar to a Blanton's too. It's got this blue wax goo, and then it's got these that you pull, and that opens the bottle. Very similar to Blanton's. Okay, so while we're opening this up, let me give you some whiskey news. I was asked to do some whiskey news, so we're going to do some whiskey news. Aaron's watching. Hey, Aaron, how are you, sir? This September, Michter's is going to be releasing the US1 Toasted Barrel Finish Rye. Michter's released the first toasted barrel whiskey of any American distillery in 2014, and it created pretty much an entire whiskey category all of its own. So that's the first booze news. The second is according to, Michter's master distiller Dan McKee, the average barrel proof for the toasted rye barrels bottled for this release is 108.9, which is 54.45% alcohol by volume. The suggested retail price is going to be $120 for a 750 milliliter bottle. Put that on because it's pretty. Also, Four Roses has announced it's going to launch its 135th anniversary limited edition small batch on September 15th. The release will be the 16th in its series of annual limited quantity special bottlings, and you can enter the lottery by going to the Four Roses website. You'll be able to pick those up at the distillery and probably some retailers. Not sure who, but go to the website and check that out. Also, I don't know if you know about this, the alcohol czar of the Biden administration is considering changing the alcohol guidelines as far as what is heavy drinking and what is healthy drinking. Currently, men, if you drink more than 4 drinks any day or 14 a week, you're getting into heavy drinking territory. For women, that's 3 drinks of any day or 7 drinks per week. And what they want to do now is the alcohol czar wants to mirror Canada and say that'll be 2 drinks a week. 2 beers, 2 shots of 80 proof whiskey over my dead barrel. So, all right. Okay, so this is another one of those bottles that are very sought after and hard to find. Why? Well, for starters, it's owned by Sazerac. And secondly, because it's a Canadian single barrel owned by Sazerac, sometimes referred to as the Canadian Blanton's, single barrel, hand bottled, cute little bag, ornate topper, taterific, isn't it? It's bottled in the spring and fall, and this twice yearly whiskey is shipped down from Canada and bottled at the Buffalo Trace Distillery. I'm willing to bet that some of you are already online looking for your own bottle. Don't do that. Let me try it first before you start tatering on this particular Buffalo Trace from the north. For those of you who remember Bob and Doug, that's what that was for. Jeff is watching. Brian's watching. How you doing, guys? All right. So, Canadian whiskey. It doesn't have to have near the restrictions that American whiskey has to have, bourbon or Tennessee whiskey, for instance. It needs to be made in Canada, aged for 3 years in a wooden barrel, and it can be a used wooden barrel, and be bottled at 80 proof minimum. I know what you're thinking. Au contraire, Crown Royal has offerings like Crown Peach that are bottled at 70 proof, and that's true. And I looked for some explanations as to why that might be the case and why that's still legally called Canadian whiskey, and the only thing I can think of is that the distillate can be bottled at 80 proof, but then when they mix it with the peach or the salted caramel or whatever extract they're using to flavor their whiskey, it goes down to 70 proof and it's still legal. I don't know. I wasn't able to find it. I looked for it. I'll have to dig more if I find it important enough after today. But there you go. There is one unique aspect to Canadian whiskey blending in that it's legally allowed to be blended with other spirits or wine up to 9.09%, 1 part in 11, before being bottled. So, Caribou Crossing, it's made by Old Montreal Distillery. It's 80 proof, and a lot like other Sazerac products, it has no age statement, and it has an undisclosed mash bill. Anxious to hear my thoughts on this one? I've had mine for 2 years and haven't cracked it yet. I've had this one for, a little over a year, maybe a year, something like that, and this is the first I've cracked it too. So, Brian, I'm going to give you my best review on this one. No age statement, undisclosed mash bill, although, like Blanton's, it's rumored to have a 15% rye mash bill, and it's supposed to be aged around 4 years. So, now that's the high rye mash bill for Buffalo Trace. Although it's not quite high by my standards. And I think most standards, when you start calling it a high rye, it's about 18%. So this is rumored to be about 15%. So, all right. There's the news, and there's the scuttlebutt. And again, sorry for the feed. I don't know what I can do to fix it other than get a new computer. So, all right. The feed will look better on YouTube later because I am filming this. So if you want to duck out, that's fine. I hope you don't. Okay. All right, so right off the nose, it's a little bit astringent. It's got plenty of nose. It's not like one of those where I got to stick the schnoz down in a glass to find it. It's definitely got plenty of nose. And it's got some really nice notes on it, really. The vanillas are popping right off. that that rye content. I'm getting a little grassiness, just a little bit, just a little bit. So if you're afraid of grassy, don't let it run you off. It's just a little bit. It's holding onto the side of the glass nicely. There's definitely something sweet in there. I'm trying to say, is it caramel? No. Almost like a custard. I won't say creme brulee because it's not creme brulee, but kind of a sweet vanilla custard. A little bit of a fruit note. Perhaps raspberry, because it's sweeter. It doesn't have a dark fruit note. It's a light fruit, one that has a sweetness to it, not kind of a bitterness to it like some fruits do. Yeah, this is a nice nose. A little bit of caramel on that one, just a little bit. Salted caramel. All right. Impressive nose. Now let's get to the rest of it. There is no bloom. There's a little on the end of my tongue right now. I'm feeling it going down the pipe. But there's nothing on the palate. For such a nice nose, the palate was very weak. Almost watery. That is really surprising. It's an 80 proof pour. But I've had 80 proof pours that have impressed me. 81 proof Wild Turkey, 80 proof Jim Beam. A lot more flavor, a lot more going on in the mouth. 80 proof Four Roses is definitely spicier than this. It's not even like a Basil Hayden where it's got nothing on the palate and then it kicks you in the ass on the way down your throat. It's not even like that. Chris is watching. Hey, Chris, how are you? We're doing the Caribou Crossing, and it was a very impressive nose, but the palate, weak. Yeah, there's not a lot there. There's some rye notes, a little bit on that grassy side, that Canadian rye. People are talking. Oh, Homer's watching. Hey, Homer, how are you, sir? I'm glad you're with us. This is Caribou Crossing, and it is underwhelming. I don't see any point in putting this on ice or on water. I will put it on water just to see if it opens up a little bit. This is a fresh crack. And to have nothing on a fresh crack. Now, the fresh crack on the Green River a few weeks ago came off as a bit thin on the mouthfeel as well. As that went through the weeks, the viscosity grew and it became a much nicer pour. Even just within the first week, it was a nice pour. It opened up. It was nice. It was nice on water. So maybe this will do something. Chris, hey, another Chris. How are you, sir? I'm glad you're here. The nose on this, really great. The palate on this, really not. Let's hit it again. Let's hit it again. By the way, those of you watching, I know that the feed is a little bit choppy. It's been like this for a couple of weeks. I haven't been able to figure out why. So I apologize for that. Grassy, little bit of maybe some dates. Still just a slight bit of caramel in there, just a little bit. I mean, it's really, you got to reach for it. Some of those custard notes are hanging in there, but it's like I've already dumped half a glass of water in this, and I'm still looking for notes. I saw other reviewers online kind of giving this poor notes, and I don't always read other people's reviews. This time I did, and I was hoping, like a lot of times, that I would find something that I like that the other reviewers didn't. And I'm not. Austin's with us. Hey, Austin. Wow. So when I post this on YouTube later, those of you who are coming in late and seeing how stuttered this feed is, and again, my apologies, you'll go to the YouTube channel and you'll be able to see it in its entirety. And you'll catch the news that I caught at the beginning, which is news about the new Michter's Rye that's going to be coming out, and the new Four Roses 135th anniversary small batch that's coming out September 15th. You'll be able to find out more about that if you go to the YouTube and watch it in its entirety, and it won't be all choppy like this, and I will put it up tonight. After we're done here, I'm going to have a little dinner, and then I'm going to put this up on YouTube so it can be seen in its entirety without all the choppiness. All right, let's hit this with some water. I'm not even gonna put it on ice, because unless water really impresses me, the ice is just gonna tear it apart. If it can tear apart Blade and Bow, and if it can tear apart 1792 Foolproof, it can tear apart this one. Austin Mitchell's watching. Hey, Austin, how are you, sir? All right. I hope this does something for it. I was rooting for this. The Canadian blends, are you kidding? I mean, a lot of Canadian whiskeys are 80 proof. A lot of them. A lot of them. A lot of Irish whiskeys are 80 proof. It seems to be, across the board, kind of a number that'll, I mean, it's bourbon and rye in America that that kills that envelope. You know, I've got a rye over there that I still haven't opened, from Elmore, Ohio. That's 140 proof. It's called Old Homicide, and we will get to that. Probably not this year, but we will get to the Ernest Cirillo distillery in Elmore, because I've had their stuff and I like their stuff. But it's been a while. I think the last time I tried Old Homicide was like January of 2020. It's been a minute. All right. Okay, this is a full milliliter of water. I gave this a pretty good dunking. So we'll see if it does anything with the mouthfeel and brings out any flavors that weren't there when it was neat. Surprisingly, it does. Surprisingly, it does. Okay. I was prepared to go, nope. But surprisingly, it opened it up a little bit. Okay. So the notes that I talked about before. Michael's watching. Hello, sir. Or K-Bolt. I don't know what that means. I assume it's a fun little nickname you gave yourself. It's cool. It's cool. When I said Elmore, I said it's got to be Old Homicide. Yep. And they've got Whiskey Dick, and they've got a couple of other ones. And I've got I think all of them that they make. Now, again, I haven't been there in a few years, so they may have some new offerings that I'm not aware of. But that Old Homicide, 140 proof, baby. And it's hot, but it's good. It's good. It's not even got a long age on it. I want to say it's, 6 months, 9 months, maybe? Something like that. It's not a long age, but it's pretty good. Okay. By the way, there's a bottle out there. It's called Hand Barrel. It's a white barrel. It's a 2-year bourbon from Bardstown. and it's a high rye, like a 30-something% or maybe 27% rye, and I've heard good things on it. So if you see the hand barrel, the white one, you might pick it up. I trust the people that I have asked about it, and they said they liked it. They had a group together, they tried it, they liked it. It's up there in proof as well. It's kind of a hot one, over 107, I think, something like that. I don't remember. But okay, let's go back to this. I want to see if I can get anything more out of it. It's got that grassiness. There's a little bit of caramel, a little bit of custard to it. It did bring the flavors out a little bit more. Neat, surprising. This is so backwards. Neat, it was watery. With a little bit of water on it, brings the proof down, but it brings the mouthfeel up. It's a little bit more buttery now. It's got some silkiness to it. Brought the flavors out a little bit more. Very unimpressive pour, but it got a little bit better with some water on it. Those rye notes, I know it's only a 15% rye, but that's equating this to Blanton's is just don't. Just don't. It's got a pretty bottle. It's got a pretty box. You know, it's luminescent, which is kind of cool. It does cool luminescent things. Yeah, woo. And it's got a bag that goes with it. It's got a Caribou on the top. I was about to say horsey because that's what people call it with the Blantons, but that's where the similarities, and it's owned by Sazerac, and it's a single barrel. I get it. That's where the similarities end. I mean, Blanton's is overrated, but it's at least a decent pour. This one doesn't delve into that territory. It's the Caribou topper. Yeah, but there's no numbers or letters or anything on it, Austin. I mean, I'd rather leave this intact with that cool blue seal on it. I didn't even put that back on. You can't do this part, the wax ring, I make it sound like a toilet. but I can put that back on it, just, for giggles. And that's got something written on it. I can't see what it says, but I don't think there's a number or a letter or anything on there that would, make it collectible. It's pretty, it's cool. It's really well rendered. But the juice is not worth the squeeze on this one. There are people spending $200 for this bottle. It's a $50 bottle in the United States, which, by the way, it's actually sold in the United States more than it is in Canada. Go figure. So, if you really want to get fancy, they also have a maple leaf topper. Okay. I would actually like to have that. Just because I like that stuff, But do I want another bottle of this? No. I don't. On water, it's okay. It's just okay. That's the way to drink it. Put a nice big splash of water in it and open it up. Now, as it sits, will it open up? We'll find out. There's a couple other ones I want to check out. The Green River Wheated. I didn't have a lot of love for that one. It was okay. But I was looking for an equivalent to Weller. And it might have an equivalent to the Weller 107 when you first crack it, because I don't like Weller 107 when you first crack it. It's harsh. To me, the Wheated Green River was harsh on that first crack. So maybe it'll settle down. I don't know. We're going to try that one again. There's another one I want to get back to. Which one was that? The Claremont Steep. I want to get back to that. That's that malted whiskey from Jim Beam that I liked. I didn't love, but I liked it. It was better than I thought it would be. It's better than most single malts I've had. It's better than Stranahan's. I'm talking about American single malts, not Scotch. It's better than Stranahan's for me. And single malts are coming out like crazy, but nobody's buying them. James Pepper's got a single malt out. Woodford Reserve's got a single malt out. I think people buy that on accident when they think they're getting something else. There's a lot of single malts out right now, and just people aren't buying them. There is one I like though, and it's rested in peated barrels. That's the Bear Fight. We did a review on that a while back. I do like the Bear Fight because I like a peated barrel. And it's a nice entry level American Scotch. If you're looking for something like that, I do like that one. So I've got some stuff I've got to revisit. Did try a couple of new gins this week. If you want to get into the weeds here of things that I'm drinking, I got recommended the Nolitz. I don't know if I'm saying it right. It could be Nolay, but I think it's Nolitz. To me, that's just another bottle of Hendrick's. It tastes like Hendrick's. It's good. I like Hendrick's, but Nolitz tastes like Hendrick's. So the other one I tried was Gray Whale, and that one was unique. That one was different, and I really liked that one. So if you're into gin and you want to try something different, I can tell you about the Gray Whale. Really nice pour. I probably should have done it on a Bourbcast, but I wasn't willing to wait till the next gin day. I bought them. I wanted to try them. Maybe I'll bring them back out for gin day, but we'll see. We'll see. All right, so I need this bottle. So Jonathan Finley's watching. Joe's watching. Thank you, guys. Yeah, so, Joe, you're saying I need this bottle. It's pretty. As I said before, the box is kind of cool. It's luminescent. If I set it here and I move it around in the light, there's some things about it that are cool. It's got a topper. It's got a bag. It's considered the Canadian Blanton's, but that's where the similarities end. It's owned by Sazerac, same as Blanton's, but I'm telling you, the juice is not worth the squeeze on this. It's not good. You put it on water, it gives you a little bit more, but neat, it's just not good. And you know me, I try to be positive. I try to find something about each pour that I like. And I'm not one of these guys that does drain pours, although I did do one. And I'm going to tell you about it is, because I'm not in a place where I can't. I'm in a place where I can, and I finally did a drain pour. It was horrid. I had Aaron, who's watching, we went down to Kentucky, and we went on a blitz. We went crazy. This was during COVID. I think it was like April in COVID. So we said, COVID, and we went down to Kentucky. No masks, no sanitizer, no nothing. We threw caution to the wind, and we went crazy, and it was fun. And, of course, everything was locked down, but not all the way. And we were able to go to some places that I wanted to go to, and I was able to pick up some really great stuff. But along the way, we picked up a bunch of those little shooters, those little, not singles, there's like, I think 2 shots in a shooter. It's like airplane bottles, right? Picked up a couple of those, and I hadn't opened them, because why? But one of the things that I was missing was the Crown Royal honey. I do have a bottle of Crown Royal honey, and they don't make it anymore, and it's delish, and I love it. And I was wondering if there might be an alternative out there that I could have a good honey drink like the Crown Royal honey, because there's nothing like it. It's really good. Well, I picked up the Evan Williams honey. I took a sip of it. Took another sip just to make sure I wasn't crazy. Drain pour. Evan Williams honey, down the drain. Horrible. It's the only Southern Comfort is freaking close. I didn't drain pour that because I was outside when I tasted Southern Comfort. I put the lid back on. I threw it across the yard, if you'll remember. That was the first one that we did about for whiskeys for beginners. Would have been in, 2021, summer 2021, I think. It's been a while ago. Southern Comfort was awful. The Evan Williams honey was more awful, or as awful. Awful. It was terrible. Now I've got some other stuff that's in those shooter bottles that I got to try yet. That was terrible. But again, I try to be positive and find the best in all the bottles that I try. And I couldn't with that one. This one, you add a little water to it, it gets a better mouthfeel, you start to get some of those notes. It's still kind of grassy, but you got some other stuff in it. I won't recommend this one. It just isn't good. It just isn't good. It's okay once you put water on it, but it just isn't what they purport it to be, which is just a shame. So, all right. Next week, golly, I completely 100% forgot what I'm doing next week. And let me find that out for you real quick like. Oops. Well, I think we might be getting into a new series next week. Let me look. Oh, come on. Okay, so there's... Yes, we're starting a new series next week. And this will take up all of September. Now, one of these dates I'm going to be out of town. So I may either move the Bourbcast or pre-tape it. I don't know yet, but that'll be... that will be on September 11th. I'm going to be out of town September 11th. I'm looking forward to that trip. It's going to be a great trip. But we're going to get into the Bardstown series. I've got the Bardstown series. I want to say it's from 2021, and I never opened it. And I feel a little guilty about that. But I'm going to get into it. And what I have is the Bardstown Fusion, the Bardstown Discovery, the Bardstown, I don't know how to say this, Pfeiffer Pavitt Reserve, and Bardstown the Prisoner. I've got 4 of them, and I know that they've done some more stuff since then. They've got the special one from the West Virginia Barrel Company, which is interesting, and they've got the Foursquare, and they've continued to do these series, the Discovery and the Fusion. I get it. They've continued those things, but this is what I have. So we're going to do a 4-part series on the Bardstown Discovery series things. We're going to be doing that starting next week, and I'll let you know what I'm going to do about September 11th. We may move that to another day, or I may pre-tape it. I don't know. We'll see. There you go. All right. Thank you for watching, despite my icky feed. Again, here shortly, give me an hour, and it'll be up on YouTube, and you can watch it in its entirety without all the stuttering and all the garbage. So next week, again, starting that Bardstown series. Looking forward to that. Really, I am. This one, if you want to spend the money on it, go ahead. But it's a $50 bottle in the U.S., and it ain't worth it. This is maybe a $20, $25 bottle. Only because it's pretty and because it has a bag and a box. It's just not good. I'm going to give it a $15 bottle. It's just not good. And I wanted it to be good, but it isn't. So, y'all have a good one. I will see you next Monday. And hey, don't listen to the alcohol czar. Drink as much as you want. Just don't drive afterwards. Take it easy.